one of the biggest struggles that we face as human beings is communication. So in this video, I'm sharing what it means to have certain zodiac signs in the planet of communication, known as Mercury. In this video specifically, I'm talking about what it means to have your Mercury in the sign of Gemini, because by understanding what your Mercury is in, you'll understand how you communicate, how you think, and how it differs from other people's. In this video, I'm covering what it means for the Mercury in Gemini to have Mercury in Gemini, and what your communication struggle is going to be, and what your biggest strength in communication is going to be. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Isabelle, and before we get too far into this video, you should go to the link in the description below to get the free birth chart workbook, where I walk you through the basics of your chart and how to actually embody them so that you can use astrology to benefit your life instead of doing what I did when I first got into astrology and just held the information and thought, what do I do with this? So grab the free birth chart workbook in the link in the description below. My name is Isabelle, and I help you understand who you are using personality types. I was the kind of person who did not understand themselves for the life of them. No matter what people told me about me, I just couldn't process it for myself, and this led me to not knowing what I desired the most, and it kept me very unclear about my life direction. Then I discovered astrology, Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, and so many other personality typing systems, and my life changed because they helped me understand who I was to such a degree and understand what my desires finally were. So now I'm here to teach you about these personality typing systems so that you can understand who you are too, and so that you can live in alignment with your desires. So before we dive into what it means to have Mercury specifically in the sign of Gemini, what is Mercury in the first place? Mercury is a word, if you're new to astrology, that gets thrown around a lot, usually because it comes with the word retrograde right after, and everyone's panicking always over Mercury retrograde. Oh my God, Mercury retrograde is gonna kill us all. Don't send a single email. While Mercury retrograde is definitely something that we should be mindful of, we have definitely fear-mongered the planet of Mercury. But Mercury is simply the planet of communication. It shows how we think, how we process information, and how we verbalize that information. So knowing your Mercury can be extremely impactful, not only for how you learn, but it can also be extremely impactful for how you communicate with other people, because it can really impact your relationships because of that. So knowing your Mercury can be really impactful because not only does it show us how we think and learn, but it also shows us how we communicate, which can in turn massively impact our relationships. So what is the sign of Gemini? Gemini is the third zodiac sign in the zodiac wheel and is the first air sign in the zodiac that we interact with. It shows how we interact with the world. Gemini is known as a social butterfly, a very energetic, enthusiastic person, extremely curious, seems to know the latest gossip about everything because they're always taking in information. Gemini is also said to be the messenger of the zodiac signs. Because they're so good at taking in information, they transfer that information to other people. Gemini is logical, factual, intellectual. So what does it mean to have Mercury in the sign of Gemini? People with a Mercury in Gemini are extremely talkative, they take in a ton of information, and they love to debate. When Mercury is in the sign of Gemini, not only are we all mentally active in general, but we become hyperactive mentally. These people who have Mercury in Gemini can take in so much information, and they love to take in data and facts because that is how they stimulate their brains. Gemini is already an air sign that is ruled by Mercury, and so when Mercury is in Gemini, our mental energy is extremely activated. So people with Mercury in Gemini have a high priority on learning and taking in information. It'll be a high value for you in your life if you have this placement in your chart. People with Mercury in Gemini may not necessarily seem like the most logical people, so to say, but they seem to know a fact about everything, and they love to argue new ways to do things. They want to be innovators in a sense, and they want to try out every way possible of doing things and figure out which is the best. So these people can be very inclined towards being seen as argumentative because they want to hypothesize every theory because they have the facts for everything and they want to know what lines up the best. So people with a Mercury in Gemini can be very debative at times, whether that is an open-minded debativeness or a closed-minded debativeness, depending on how this planet manifests for you. So people with a Mercury and Gemini can appear very diplomatic in their approach to seeing all sides of the situation, or it can manifest as a very assertive nature that says, no, this is what I think is right, and I'm going to argue and be devil's advocate because I think I have better facts. At their best, Mercury and Gemini is an extremely rapid learner. They learn everything very fast, and they can take in a lot of information, which can suit them well in their career, in their relationships, and maybe even in education. But at their worst, Mercury and Gemini can struggle with feeling scattered and anxious commonly because they have such heightened mental energy. If that high mental energy is not being used or channeled by learning information or using the information, then these people become anxious very easily because they have so much mental energy that is just being built up. So what Mercury and Gemini really needs to watch out for is for how that mental energy expresses itself, because Mercury wants to be expressed in every planet actually in astrology. In our birth chart, every placement either gets embraced and expressed either positively or negatively. So we can always have the active choice to choose one or the other. So for Mercury and Gemini, you need to pay attention to when your Mercury and Gemini gets manifested negatively, in the sense that you are becoming scattered or feeling that you need to do more and to hyper-stimulate yourself in order to feel satiated. And this is something for you to play with. Yes, you are going to need more mental stimulus than most people, but at the same time, mindfulness can be a practice for you here, where you allow yourself to sit in the discomfort of not taking in more information constantly and allowing yourself to process your own thoughts. Naturally, a Mercury in Gemini is not going to be very in touch with their emotions, which can be a communication struggle for them because they are an air sign. They talk about facts over feelings, and they may sometimes be a little too blunt or factual for their partner, who might have maybe a Mercury in Cancer, or a Mercury in Scorpio, or a Mercury in Pisces, who's just so soft and sensitive. So the Mercury in Gemini needs to watch out for when they're intellectualizing everything. Depending on your moon placement will show what kind of emotions will show up for you and how you can better process your emotions. If you have an air sign moon, then you're probably this Mercury will get along well with your moon sign, and you won't necessarily have a huge blockage when it comes to processing your emotions. But if you have a moon potentially in a water sign, you are going to have a high emotional sensitivity, and your Mercury in Gemini is going to want to act against that, and you need to watch out for that. Mercury in Gemini is a highly open-minded placement. Like I said earlier, they may come across as the devil's advocate in their opinions and overly assertive, but they're overall open-minded. And so they're open to new ideas, open to changing their opinions, and this can drive their friends a little crazy because they will seem so certain of themselves about one thing and then completely change their mind the next day. And you're thinking, you were so certain about this, and now you're just going to change your mind after I argued with you about it for like 2 hours. This is just the Mercury and Gemini's ways. They love to try on new opinions, different perspectives, different perceptions, and see what fits them best and see how it serves them. They love to try a little bit of everything. So don't get upset with them when they change their opinion often. This is just their way. And for you, Mercury and Gemini, noticing this in yourself, notice if you're changing your opinions about how you should live very often or what you think you're supposed to do. This is something that you need to walk. It's a delicate line to walk, because what can end up happening for you is that because you're so open to new ideas and perspectives, you can lack grounding in your own life and always change your opinion based off of what other people say or do. And this can leave you feeling maybe even conflicted depending on what your other placements are, because you never have a sense of grounding or alignment with your own values. Again, this is where your moon sign can come into play and tell you what your values are. And your Venus can help as well. So check out my series on the Venus through the signs later. Overall, Mercury and Gemini, you have a gift for wit and you have a good way with your words, and you can learn faster and take in more information and crazy facts than anyone else can. So harness those strengths. Just watch out for when you're changing your mind too easily, maybe coming across too argumentative, and overstimulating yourself. You might need some time to step away from the facts and focus more on your internal environment rather than taking more information in. while taking in external information may soothe you, so to say, it might not be what you necessarily need. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below and let me know what else you struggle with as a Mercury and Gemini, and what strengths did I forget to mention about the Mercury and Gemini. Let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned for further videos on the series about Mercury through the signs. While you're down there leaving that comment below, be sure to grab the free birth chart workbook where I help you understand the basics of your chart using journal prompts. These are journal prompts that I've personally used to understand my own chart, because when I got into my birth chart, I just took in all the information almost as if I was a Mercury and Gemini and just said, cool, I don't know what to do with that, moving on. And I didn't use my birth chart for my benefit. So the birth chart workbook teaches you the basics of your chart and how to actually apply them so you can live a life of fulfillment. That's the free birth chart workbook, and link in the description below. While you're down there, you might want to check out the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle, where we have all 30 of our workbooks and courses available now for only $30. I know, it's an insane deal. We have all of our workbooks and courses on astrology, chakras, Enneagram, mindfulness, you name it, all in the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle, so grab that. You might want to check out BeTheHero.Academy if you're looking for more support in your journey towards living your best life. In Be The Hero, we help you work towards purposeful work, vibrant health, and fulfilling relationships with scripting and mindset work. So we are here, me, Robin, and Gabby are all working together to be your supporters, be your cheerleaders, and guide you through the process of finding your desires, understanding your personality, and breaking free of your childhood wounds and trauma. If you are someone who wants to be the hero of their story and believes that they should live a more fulfilling life, then Be The Hero Academy is for you, and I would love to see you in there. So join Be The Hero Academy 1 week for free in the link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay tuned for more videos on Mercury through the signs. Once again, my name is Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.